My long-awaited book, Astrology Realized, is finally available and waiting for you at Amazon and other online retailers. Get one for you, your loved one, or as a gift. All part of your fabulous journey to understanding astrology. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of October 20th, 2013. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And a big thank you once again to Icaros Suites here in Cancun for letting me film on their premises. I'm trying to catch the last of the light here. So this week we have Mercury going retrograde. So that's usually the thing that gets our attention most immediately. But what we also have is the sun moving into Scorpio and reaching out in harmony to Neptune, which brings a lot of idealism and a lot of hope to the energy of this week. So even though Mercury is going retrograde, a lot of people, who know just a little bit about astrology freak out a little bit when they hear about Mercury retrograde, but really it's nothing to fear. It is part of a very wise universe wanting us to be very clear about the direction in which we're heading. And it is a chance for us to rethink, re-edit, reconsider, whatever it is that we're working on, whatever it is that we want to do, so that we make sure that we're actually solid, so that we can move forward in a much more strengthened way than we would otherwise, or at least a much more clearer way than we would otherwise. What we also have this week is actually a continuation of last week, which is Mars having moved into the sign of Virgo. And so you put all these together and it does suggest a time of us getting very honest with ourselves. Scorpio is the sign of really admitting the truth to yourself. And so with all the Scorpio energy, Mercury and Scorpio going retro and dancing with Saturn in the sky, or continuing to dance with Saturn in the sky, plus now the sun, and Neptune adding that hope, adding that idealism to the reality of the situation. So it does bring a touch of magic. What we see, we know, we understand right away how we can make it better. And then you add this very strong earth energy of Mars and Virgo, and you've got the potential to really start very strong and to really understand the lessons of last week with the eclipse and what needed to end, what needed its closure, and how now you can actually go forward and have something new and more inspired and more fabulous than you had before. How this speaks to you in your sign is coming up right now. Aries, your ruling planet entered Virgo last week, and that represents for you the body, it represents your health, and it also speaks to the part of the sky that has to do with your work and you actually doing what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. So this isn't so much about money energy, this isn't so much about career or accomplishment energy. This has more to do with what are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis. Now, wherever your ruling planet goes, as I've said before, so go you, so goes your attention. So this is the time for you to get honest with yourself about your habits. Do you like where you are? Do you not like where you are? But there's also a lot of potential for you, not only to be honest with yourself, but also to make some really powerful changes that create a foundation going forward, a strong foundation of greater health and a greater sense of resilience in every area of your life than you've known before. Taurus, there's a lot of relationship energy this week, and it does look like you're thinking about love, you're talking about love. If you are attached, you're considering things with a partner, how you can go forward, how maybe you need to pull back a little bit, where you need to change, where they need to change. For those of you who are interested in love and are open to love, you are going to find that potential is there, or at the very least, there's at least one situation or person that very much has your attention. It's almost as if there's a palatable desire to connect with another person. So allow that to lead you to some wonderful adventures. Do be cautious though, because sometimes you can attract people who maybe are a little tense, to put it mildly. But for all that, the universe is teaching you to be honest with yourself about who you're attracting and why, and through that to learn some very valuable lessons about who you are, especially when it comes to partnerships. Geminis are going to find this week does lend itself very powerfully to an understanding of not only what it is that ultimately you need to feel safe within your own self, within your own body, but also there's an understanding of how all of this contributes to the way that you live your life, how you feel about yourself in your own skin. So there's a very visceral quality to this week for you as well. There's a very physical quality to this week. And so I would say to you that trust the signals you get, because sometimes the rational mind, even though your mind is bright and brilliant and you're here to develop it and consider lots of new ideas and things on a mental level, really right now, the best wisdom, the highest wisdom is going to come for you much more on a level of body, on instinct, much more on a level of your sort of immediate reactions, and especially the feelings that are evoked. Even if you can't necessarily explain them just yet, you are in the process and you will eventually get to an explanation. But for now, trust your instincts in all things, especially as you navigate through the day, because all of it is leading you to understand what it means to keep yourself safe and well and protected, and yet live a full life, and live a life out loud, and live a life connecting to others and feeling at home in all of the world. For Cancers out there, I know last week a lot of you said that I didn't talk enough about your sign, so I'm so sorry about that. This week, I will try and make sure that I get you guys covered properly. So let me just say, I really like this week for you. I like what Mercury is doing for you because it does suggest that you are getting in touch with what you truly need. I also really like this week for you in the sense that what I really feel as I look at this week for you is that there is a sense of not only play on the one hand, but also you really getting honest with yourself and admitting to yourself where maybe some goals you have been pursuing, you've been doing so more out of a sense of ego, and where ego is actually a healthy thing and where it isn't. So ego is healthy when it is a knowing that you deserve to care for you, that you deserve the best, that you deserve to be treated well, and that you choose how people treat you based on who you have around you, and that if somebody doesn't match that, it's okay and you can let them go, because what matters most is your sense of care for yourself. So there is that energy there for you, a distinction between healthy ego and unhealthy ego. Unhealthy ego is when you think that you're the best that ever lived. Healthy ego is knowing that you're special because we're all special. Unhealthy ego is thinking that, it comes from insecurity because it's thinking that you're the only one who's special. And so there is that distinction there, and I do think this week you're going to navigate some of those lessons quite well. And the boost that comes for you, especially as we get you later into the week, has to do with you really acknowledging and being grateful for and accepting where it is that actually you have shown great self-care, and how now you can take that a step further and continue to demonstrate that self-care. I do feel that there are some goals or objectives that you've been aiming for that have to do with, they've been coming out of a sense of the false ego, if you will, right? The unhealthy ego. And now as you're getting these new perspectives, you're going to be able to balance some of your needs, balance some of your drives, and get clearer on what you want and why you want it, and get clearer on the way in which to get to the source of what you really want. Ultimately, what you're going for is happiness. Ultimately, what you're going for is a greater sense of fulfillment. And that's true for all of us, except you this week move years ahead in the process. Really, this week can be so important for you and so consequential if you allow yourself to merge that desire to live a dream with the desire to be true to yourself. Leo, as I looked at the sky for you this week, I got this image, actually a remembrance of an episode of Seinfeld way back in the day, that had to do with how your friends are the ones who are going to help you move, and how sometimes helping somebody move can be a really big deal, and sometimes it's like it doesn't mean anything to other people. And I thought of that for you this week. I remembered that episode for you this week because I was reminded of, as I looked at the sky, about this idea of who you trust in your home. Who do you trust with your things? Who is it that's really going to matter to you in the sense of the bigger picture of your life, and in the sense of who it is that actually represents who you feel safe with. So there does look like there are a lot of people sort of coming and going, especially when I look at people from your past. You're very likely, of all the signs, you are likely to bump into somebody from the past. Now, this very likely is just a friend, okay? It's not likely to be somebody romantic. And it's possible it's somebody that maybe you owe some money to. So just to keep that in mind as well, or who owes money to you as well. And so it does look like there's a focus on money on a certain hand, there's a focus on friendships, and there's a focus on who you're letting into your home and changes that are happening to your home, and how you want those changes to manifest and how you want those changes to flow. There's an idea of you reconsidering who is around you and who you feel comfortable with and who feels right for this portion of your journey through this life as well. All in all, this week for you, I do like it because it does suggest a time when you are not only getting one of those important lessons of being comfortable with yourself, but as these people from your past start to emerge now with Mercury retrograde beginning, I do think that these people are showing up so that you can clear any karma from the past and move forward with a lot more freedom, and also that you can see just how much you have changed since you were last strongly connected to these people. Virgo. Virgo, this is a very special time for you. Now, you do have Virgo, you do have Mars moving through your sign, moving through the sign of Virgo. I'm really sorry about the background noise. I can hear it now. I hope that you guys can't hear it too much, but going forward, we embrace what is, right? And especially in these weekly horoscopes, I've really had to learn to just go with the flow and trust the synchronicities and trust every single small moment of how these weekly horoscopes want to manifest. Okay. So last week, Mars moved into your sign. Now, I'm going to invite you to find your annual horoscope for 2012 on my YouTube channel. Because in that annual horoscope, that year-ahead horoscope for 2012 for Virgos, I talked at length about Mars moving through your sign. So 2012 was an important year for you, a year of distinction, a year of understanding yourself, your power, of embracing change, of understanding what needs to change, of how you can more greatly empower yourself. I do feel, as I look at the sky for you, that now and in the coming 6-week period, a lot of those lessons that you learned in the first half of 2012 are going to re-emerge in the best possible sense. It does look like you are being empowered. Next week, Mars is going to speak harmoniously, very harmoniously, with the other power planet in the sky, or another power player in the sky, Pluto. And so this week you're building up to that energy, and you add to that this is an energy that you had to deal with for an unusually long time in the beginning of 2012, and actually as you ended 2011. And I do think that now a lot of these lessons are going to reappear so that you get to demonstrate that you actually learned them. These lessons that have to do with change, have you fully integrated the changes? Have you fully integrated the wisdom that presented itself to you at that time? Do you fully understand where your power is, and more importantly, where it isn't, so that you're not wasting your energy? All of these are themes that are with you now and are going to continue with you over the coming weeks. So of all the signs, I do think that for you, re-watch the 2012 year ahead horoscope, because the themes I talk about there are going to be coming up again very powerfully. And I do believe, especially with Pluto there, that you are going to demonstrate great resilience, and you are going to demonstrate great wisdom as well. For Libras out there, I do like this week for you in the sense that it is also a financial week for you. There is a financial emphasis of sorts, but it looks like you're sort of figuring out where you want to go next, if you will. You're figuring out how you can bring in more money, where you're spending money, but more than that, it looks like you are thinking about your relationship to money. You're thinking about how maybe your money has been idealized, where it isn't, how you can bring in more money by aligning yourself with a belief system or an energy, if you will, and how maybe there is the potential there for you to embrace an opportunity, a possibility to bring in greater money for you. Now, this is not the time to commit to anything. This is not the time for you to sign anything or to say, yes, this is the direction I'm going in, unless it's something you were already involved in the past. But this is a really great time for you to be rethinking about what you can do to improve your financial situation. And a few weeks down the road, you'll be ready to implement those ideas. Right now, you're getting a lot of lessons in reality checks where it comes to your finances, and you're getting a lot of lessons where it comes to where it is that maybe you could be asking for more, where your sense of self-worth has aligned with the amount of prosperity you've attracted. And you put all these things together, and it leads you to where you are right now. But more than that, you start to formulate a plan of where you want to go, and that in the bigger picture is going to lead you to greater prosperity, no doubt. Scorpios out there, it is Mercury moving through your sign, okay? So when Mercury goes into your sign, it tends to represent a time when your mind is really bright, really alert. You're thinking a lot more clearly than usual. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's about you thinking about yourself, or rethinking yourself, rethinking your identity, getting clear on who you really are. And sometimes, in all honesty, sometimes those lessons come about by you looking at who you are not, and by being presented with moments, with situations, with opportunities where you have to think to yourself, who do I want to be in this situation? How do I want to act? The one thing that I think is going to help you most to think about this week is that there is an important distinction for you to make in that what other people think, right, is not anywhere as important as what you think of yourself. In particular, when it comes to playing any sort of games or power games, ultimately the greatest power you can have is by understanding your truth and living from that truth, speaking that truth, hearing that truth, seeing that truth. That's ultimately what the lesson of Mercury going retrograde in your sign is about. And so I would invite you to embrace that lesson, because there does look like there's the temptation there to play a little bit of a game, to look at somebody and try to do a sort of tit for tat kind of thing. And I don't think that that's going to help you very much. Now, what you do is totally up to you. I don't think it's going to help you from a karmic standpoint or evolutionary standpoint. But what I do think is going to help you most is to really connect very deeply to an understanding of who you are and what really matters to you. And that whatever anyone else thinks is fine, is their business. But you are going to live from that place of clarity and truth. Keep in mind, you are formulating that clarity right now. So just stay in touch with that, continue to work with that, and you will find that the understandings you have now are ones that are going to stay with you for a very long time, if not years to come. Sagittarius, there's a strong focus on career now, on accomplishment, and I think you might even surprise yourself by just how driven you are feeling increasingly as the days go by this week. But it does look like it's grounded in a deep sense of faith, and I don't think that it's going to be easy to explain this to anybody, and so you shouldn't have to try. Really, it's something you're feeling very deep within you. It looks like there's this part of you that is just really determined to succeed, really determined to make your mark, if you will, and that is going to help you to tap into some very extraordinary courage. But what I really like for you this week is that part of you that energetically is understanding what needs to shift within you so that you can more fully align with where it is that you desire to go and the success you desire to have. Now, this is very much an energetic thing. And so when I look at the sky in general, I'll share a little bit of esoteric philosophy with you here. There is a theory, if you will, that everything sort of begins on levels of spirit. Okay? And some people say you can start it at mind. It's possible, certainly. But the levels of manifestation happen on the level of spirit, emotion, mind, and then the physical. Whether you want to call that the body, whether you want to call that matter. And so really, once something has manifested in our physical world, it's sort of the last place that manifestation has occurred. What's happening on the physical is a reflection of what's been happening on levels of spirit and emotion and mind. Now, of course, my humble opinion is that this is not totally exclusive, because certainly there are ways we look at traditions that utilize ritual to affect the spiritual, to affect change. And also, I think that we have to be really careful not to judge anyone's circumstances, because we don't know what kind of wisdom is playing out in that situation, and how even a situation that we judge as undesirable actually has its beauty, has its wisdom, has its love, has its potential. So there is a need to be cautious with this. And I do think that the human will is incredibly powerful and we can do amazing things with it. But having said that, for at least right now, and especially this week, I do think that there's something to be said for you contemplating and considering this notion of things starting on a level of spirit, emotion, mind, and matter. Because what I'm seeing is that you want to manifest things on a level of matter. You want things, you want to experience a breakthrough, you want to experience some progress, you want to experience a sense of achievement. I think you are in that process, and I think you're absolutely participating in it. And it is happening for you, but I think that you may not be fully appreciating it. And that's when you have to just trust that you have put those things in place, especially energetically, that are going to lead to manifestation, because they really are. Now, that's not to be complacent and say that action doesn't matter. Action matters a lot, as you are feeling now and as you are taking action now. The only ones of you who would be feeling frustrated are if you are not taking action, if you're not supporting what it is that you want to do, what you feel you must do with some sort of action, even symbolic action. It is important for you to do now, to take some steps going forward. Having said that, a lot is being worked out for you in the dream space. A lot is being worked out for you energetically, emotionally, on a level of unconscious as well. A lot of things are healing for you very deeply that are going to allow you to experience greater and greater accomplishment and allow you to achieve greater things in the weeks to come. For Capricorns, this week does suggest a time of, yes, there is idealism certainly in the air for you. But what I also like about this week for you is that there is a sense of vision, and you're looking at the vision for your life, what it is that you desire to manifest, what it is that you desire to actually experience in terms of your success, in terms of your career. But more than that, there is this buildup of energy focusing on what you want to achieve, where it is that you need to go, what it is that needs to change within you so that you can experience greater levels of success. Now, I am seeing that friends are going to play an important part of this process. I am seeing you being very social, having to interact with a lot of different types of people, especially where it comes to, this isn't networking energy necessarily. These would be people that you've already been connected to, that you have some sort of a personal connection with or professional connection with as well. What I am seeing is very strong possibilities for you solidifying some links. And you are also one of those signs that is likely to experience people coming back from the past, people re-emerging from the past to show you just how much you've changed, just how much you've learned. And it does look like at least a couple of these people who re-emerge at this time, friendship-wise, friends that sort of have been in your periphery but now are sort of coming for a little bit more immediate contact. You are going to understand how these friendships have shaped you for the better, how they've benefited you as well. But also you're going to understand where you are right now and where they are, and where maybe there is congruency and where maybe there isn't. And that's going to help you organize your friendships and say, okay, this is a person I want as part of my daily life, my weekly life, my monthly life, my annual life, that type of thing. And so this is a time of reconnections, reconsiderations, and conversations as well. And I'm also seeing for you some ideas, some patterns are coming to light, and they're coming to light as a result of these conversations that you're having. So embrace the possibilities, because there are tremendous possibilities there for you, and tremendous possibilities for you to connect with others on a friendship level and to understand how much you benefited from the connections that you've made already. Aquarians out there, you've got a focus on finances on a certain level, because when I look at the sky for you, I think about a few different things. One is there is that career, that desire to achieve, and I think you are rethinking and reconsidering your career path, which is great. On the other hand, I do see that there's a thought, an idea of what you should be investing in, where your money could be going, and how you can actually attract investors, how you can actually attract more money, what you can do to actually make your net worth higher. And so when I look at this type of financing, this isn't so much money. While there is an element of money that you earn, and it does look like some sort of a potential for career achievement does come, but it looks more like it's a possibility for you to align your will with a more inspired way to make your money. And at the same time, there's a different energy happening, and this energy has to do with you trying to attract funds, trying to attract grants, loans even, benefits, insurance payouts, that type of thing, trying to get investors behind some sort of a really big idea. Now, what that idea is clarifying itself to you right now, okay? So it's not completely clear, and it's not supposed to be completely clear. This is a time for you to be really writing down what it is that you want and refining that plan, refining that business plan, and being open to the possibilities as they present themselves to you. But really next month, which I'll talk about in the November horoscopes, there's such big career breakthroughs ahead for you. And so this is the time for you to really be considering where you are and really be getting the clarity that you need in order to go forward with a much more inspired idea and possibility than you've had in a long time. And it does look like, when I look ahead for you, this time, if spent well, can just prepare you really for opportunity. So in the Chinese symbol, opportunity, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity is going to come. This is the time for preparation. This is the time for belief in yourself. And I do think that if you do that, if you utilize this time well, before the year is out, you could find yourself much more successful and much richer than you are right now. And Pisces, my fabulous Pisces out there, with Mars moving through your opposite sign, there is this focus on relationships. There is a focus on love as well. And what I do like is, because Neptune moving through your sign, Neptune, your ruling planet, through your sign, getting a boost from the sun, I look at these and the sun moving through very harmonious placement for you. I look at these things together, and it does suggest that you and love are coming into a very strong alignment, where you are starting to believe in your dreams for all of your life, in every area of your life again. And at the same time, you're thinking about why you want those dreams, why they matter, what your vision is for yourself, for your life, for the future, even for the world on one hand as well. And yet, at the same time, you are understanding that if you want those things, you have to let greater love in. Now, how you define that love is up to you. I do think, of course, relationships are part of it. Whether you're attached or whether you're single, there's going to be an understanding of letting more love in as helping every area of your life. But having said that, love is a lot bigger than just that. Love has to do with our connection to everyone, to everything. Love has to do with doing what we enjoy, doing what we feel called to do, doing what resonates with our heart. And I do think that you take great steps in that direction, in that understanding about what you need and what's really going to resonate as love for you. I also think that this week you are likely to start making some connections, some very casual connections, which next week are going to prove themselves very fortunate to you and very lucky to you. And so I would say to you that just be yourself, be relaxed, connect with other people, trust your flirtations. Sometimes what starts out as a bit of flirtation, a bit of attraction, might not necessarily manifest as an actual partnership or love. It might, but it might not. But it is possible that it manifests in other ways, in terms of friendship, in terms of opportunities, in terms of prosperity. And so just be open to that, be loving, be yourself. Strive to understand the connection that you have to everyone and everything. That is where you find your center. That is where you find your light. And if you connect to that part of yourself and then align yourself with the vision that you have for where it is that you're going and allow yourself to be open to an even higher vision, you're going to find yourself aligning yourself with it and also moving towards it in some very powerful moves. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Welcome to your week, and it will be a great week. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.